Hello, this is Mike, NoStressMike.com. Now, I want to talk about timing. And the reason is, it's timing is very important. Uh, if you, uh, when the timing is right, things seem to go good. If the timing isn't all quite that right, it seems like more work. I've done a lot of that. Uh, Very few of the things in my life has been simple. It's been work. It's been um, I had to put out effort, and I never get into anything and thinking that, oh, well, this is going to be easy. I never, I've never, like I say, things don't ever come easy for me. I'm going to give you some examples. Um, one of the biggest things that really changed my life, and I think it has a lot to do with married couples, is uh, my wife and I. We would fight. I mean, things weren't. I didn't have an easy marriage, you know. I mean, you got to remember, we didn't even speak the same language. She came from Guatemala, so her culture was different. I'm from the United States. The one thing is, we were both Chinese, so we both knew our responsibility as Chinese. So that's really what kept us going. But one of the things that we argued about uh, was the children, and that's because the cultural difference. She protects the children. Uh, uh, she wants to give things to the children. Um, for me, like I say, things been tough on me, so that's what I know. And so I wanted the children to work for anything. They can have anything they want. They just got to put out some kind of effort to get it. In which my wife thought that was part of parenting, is give them stuff. Now, as far as I know, you give them enough to survive. Kind of like the government. They think you only need just enough to survive. You know, a good, comfortable life. No more than that. But for me, it's I'm obligated for the kids to give them an education, let them think, be able to think, give them so they know when they see opportunities, they know what to do, and they know when to jump. Um, I would try to start small businesses with the kids. I paid the kids. I said I've had restaurants, mainly when the kids were growing, and so I put them to work in the restaurant, and they would get paid for it. I taught them how to invest their money, and this type of stuff, and but we would argue. We would have argument. Now we held on through that. I mean, some of our arguments we never had a conclusion to the argument. I mentioned I don't like going to bed mad, so we might not get an argument settled, but we can't go to bed mad. And but I noticed once the kids, and he said we got married when I was 22 years old, so by the time I was 40, man, they were already off to college. And we still had some problems in college, a little bit, but it wasn't near as bad as it was when they were smaller. But it really changed. Well, when they got out of college, it was really a big change. And when they got married, it was they're on their own. So it was funny because at that time, our love and affection towards each other really got big. And the reason was, it wasn't the kids we were focused on anymore. At that time, we were focused on each other. And so, in other words, remember that when you're going to be arguing with your spouse, remember it's just the timing on a lot of stuff. And so you have to keep that in mind. A lot of times, talking about the spouse, it might not be the right time to say a certain thing or to do something, go on vacation, spend money, buy a new gun, the timing may not be right. If the timing is not right, you just need to plant the seed. Let them think about it. And then don't worry about it. Just wait till the time is right before you do something. When it comes to spouses and stuff like that. In business, it's the same thing. We got to figure out what's the right time. We don't want to develop too fast, grow too fast. That's the downfall of a lot of businesses. So you have to visualize when is the time to grow and to make the next steps. I know one time, talking about timing, I had a guy when I was 21. A guy knew, because I've been in the restaurant business, he saw my abilities in restaurant, and he wanted to finance me in a restaurant. And this guy, he furnished all the Holiday Inns, I think it was, and they would pay him. He owned a furniture company, restaurant, hotel stuff, and he's contracted out. He sold all the equipment to like I say, Holiday Inn, and he wanted to go in business with me. It's the same like I do now. I like to go in business with people all the time. I'm all the time looking to see what somebody's interested in and if it's something I can get in. I want to get in business with him. And he wanted to get in business with me. And so I went running around finding a location to start a new restaurant. And I found one or not a restaurant, but I found a place in Kansas City. And it was the railroad. So this would have been 1970, something like that. The railroad was, at that time, people were starting not to travel on the railroad so much. So in Kansas City, they had a big railroad depot, and I wanted to either buy the whole place, and it was big, and or like I say, put a restaurant right smack dab in the middle. And like I say, I do Chinese with the wok, cooking in the wok and stuff, and that's what I was going to do, have it up on a stage, and I would cook on the stage there and have everybody around watching me cook and create stuff like that. And he came out and looked at it, and we went over the numbers, and this was on a Friday, and we got all completely done. And he says, all right, come in Monday morning in the office, we'll sign the papers, we can get this thing started. And Sunday, he died. So if we got the papers signed, I would have been in business. But seeing we didn't get that far, that was the end of that. So there's times, and that's one reason why I'm kind of anxious. I'm kind of hyper anyway. So I'll look at something, I'll study it, I'll look at it, but when I'm ready to go, I'm ready to go. And when I ask somebody, if I'm going in with somebody or something, I need somebody to come help me or something like that, I ask them, I expect an answer. If, for me personally, if people lollygag around, that shows they don't have the self-confidence. I'm asking them to do something more than they could possibly do, but I think they're capable of doing it. And if they lollygag around and stuff like that, in other words, they don't have the confidence to do it. And then that's it. I don't ask twice. I just ask once. And I'm not saying it's the right way of doing it. I'm just saying that's the way I do it. Because, like I say, I've had things happen so much that I realize timing is a big thing. So, and so if you're interested in something and you want to do something and you're looking for people to help you do this stuff, that's a good way to find out if these people will really help you or not. A lot of people have the abilities, but if you don't have the confidence to back up your skills and abilities, it's not going to work. Back to the three-man militia. That's one of the reasons why we do three-man militia, not necessarily in weapons, but in other things, because we're growing a relationship, and then I can tell what the skills and abilities somebody has, and then we can push a little bit more, push a little bit more, push a little bit more, and they'll get better and better. And you do that anyway in life. You should. I mean, you don't want to work for McDonald's all your life. You know what I mean? You're looking to something a little bit more difficult, more challenging, more better. So be ready. When the time comes, be ready to jump. And they're not always good. I don't always do good on that stuff. But like I say, that's just one way of looking at it. This Mike, NoStressMike.com.